Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into something that is, no joke, one of the most important things in software development, the user story. And trust me, if you get this right, it's a total game changer for you and your team.
Okay, let's put you on the hot seat for a second. Imagine you're in that big job interview, right? The one you really want. The hiring manager looks you straight in the eye and says, "So, tell me, what's a user story?" That one question, how you answer it, can literally make or break the interview. It shows them everything they need to know about your grasp of Agile.
But hey, no sweat. That's exactly why we're here. In the next few minutes, we're going to craft the perfect interview-ready answer together, step by step. By the end of this, you'll be able to explain user stories like a seasoned pro, I promise. All right, so let's start at the very beginning. Before we jump into the fancy formats and all the pro tips, we've got to get to the heart of it. What is a user story, really? And why does it even matter so much? At its simplest, it's just a short, plain English description of a feature, but told from the perspective of the person who's actually going to use it, the customer. In the Agile world, this is like the basic atom of our work. It's the smallest piece of value we can deliver to someone. So it's way more than just an item on a checklist. It has to answer three key questions. Who wants this? What do they want? And why do they want it? And this part is absolutely critical. A user story is not a technical blueprint. Think of it more like an invitation. It's a placeholder for a conversation that gets everyone, developers, designers, products people, talking and aligned on delivering what actually matters. Okay, so we get the what and the why. Now for the fun part. How do you actually write one? Well, there's a classic, super simple format that we can build together piece by piece. First up, you start with as a. This is the role. It forces you to name exactly who you're building this for. Is it a brand new user, a logged-in customer, an admin? Nailing this down right away puts everyone in the right mindset. Next comes I want. This is the intent or the goal. What's the user trying to do here? What's the feature they need? This part describes the actual action. And finally, we get to the most important part of all, so that. This is the value, the big why. Why does this person even want this feature? This little phrase is pure magic. It connects every single line of code back to a real-world benefit. And you know what? It helps developers make way smarter choices because they're not just building a thing, they understand the reason for the thing. So let's put it all together. Here's a classic example. As a returning customer, I want to view my past orders so that I can easily reorder items. See? It's so simple, so clear. Anybody, and I mean anybody, from a junior developer all the way up to the CEO can read that one sentence and immediately get what's going on. Okay, so now you can write a story. But is it a good one? That's a different question, right? Well, the pros have a secret weapon for this. A simple checklist that goes by the acronym INVEST. Yeah, INVEST. It stands for independent, negotiable, valuable, estimatable, small, and testable. We're talking about a story that can stand on its own, isn't set in stone, actually delivers value, and is something the team can size up, build, and test. And let me tell you, dropping the word invest in an interview, that's like a secret handshake that tells them you really know your stuff. All right, listen up because this next part is super important. It's a classic interview question that trips up a lot of people. What's the difference between a user story and a task? Let's make sure that's not you. We're going to clear this up for good right now. Honestly, the difference is pretty straightforward once you see it. The user story is the what and the why from the user's point of view. The tasks are the how from the developer's point of view. So for one story, you might have a bunch of technical tasks like set up the new database table or create the API endpoint. The story is the goal. Tasks are the steps to get there. Now, a story isn't complete without one last ingredient, acceptance criteria. What's that? It's basically the definition of done. Think of it as a checklist of conditions. When I click this, that happens. This field should not accept text. They're the rules of the game that tell us exactly when the story's finished and working correctly. No guesswork, no ambiguity. So, we know how to write a great story, but what happens next? Where does it go? Let's follow the life of a typical user story, from the moment it's just an idea, all the way until it's a real feature in the hands of a user. It usually starts with the product owner writing down the first draft. But then, and this is key, the whole team gets together to poke holes in it, ask questions, and refine it. Once it's solid, it gets pulled into a sprint. The developers build it, testers validate it against those acceptance criteria we just talked about, and finally, it gets its big reveal at the sprint review for everyone to see. And that's it. from idea to value delivered. Okay, we've covered all the building blocks, you've got the theory, now let's get you ready for prime time. We're going to tackle some of the most common interview questions head on and give you the absolute best answers. First one up, a real classic. So, who actually writes user stories? Now, you could just say the product owner, and you'd be kind of right. But the A+ answer, the one that gets you hired, is this. While the product owner is primarily responsible for creating them, writing and refining stories is really a collaborative effort for the entire team. Boom. That shows you get that it's all about teamwork. Here's another big one they love to ask to see if you understand the big picture. Can you explain the difference between epics, features, and user stories? It's all about scale. Think of it like this. An epic is like a whole movie trilogy, this giant idea. A feature is like one of the movies in that trilogy, a big, valuable chunk. And a user story? That's like a single scene in that movie, small enough to film in a short amount of time, but it still moves the plot forward. Epic, feature, story. Big, medium, small. Okay, so let's put this all together. If you want one single killer definition to memorize for your next interview, this is it. Ready? A user story is a small, valuable, user-focused requirement that explains who wants something, what they want, and why. It's not a spec, it's a conversation starter that needs acceptance criteria, should meet the invest model for quality, and has to be small enough to finish in one sprint. Seriously, that answer touches every single base. It's a mic drop. And that's it. You've officially got the complete professional breakdown of what makes a great user story. You know the what, you know the why, and you know how to talk about it like a pro. So, you've learned how to start the conversation. Are you ready to go have it?